In this video, I stay at the Phenicia Hotel in Hammamet at Tunisia with TUI as a package holiday, and it went all-inclusive, and I'll take you around the resort looking at the great pool and the fantastic beach as well, in terms of what I actually thought of the holiday, as well as going on an excursion as well in Hammamet. Now, I was very lucky in the weather. I went mid-January, and the weather generally does make the holiday, doesn't it? And the resort was actually really nice. I loved the pool, went in the pool many times. I had a few massages as well, and the beach was nice. The only downside with the beach was that you can get approached by camel owners coming up to you and trying to sell you stuff. That didn't happen too much at the beach, but it did happen a couple of times that I went there. And I was only there for a short space of time, so it's something to bear in mind. Now, I'm just passing the restaurant on the left-hand side now. The food quality wasn't up to my particular standard. It was advertised as a 4-star holiday with TUI. I actually felt it was more like a 2.5-star to 3-star hotel, particularly around the food. Things for breakfast was a bit of a pain, such as putting what you thought was cold milk on the cereal to find out that it was hot milk. The cereals were very basic, and the food was generally basic as well, and the drinks as well. I went all inclusive, and the alcoholic drinks didn't taste great, including the cocktails, but you did have the option to pay for more premium drinks. It was kind of out of season, so some of the outdoor areas were closed, but it was still nice to be able to use what facilities were already there. It was a fairly small beach, but it was a private beach nonetheless. I didn't go in the sea. I did notice it kind of goes quite deep quite quick, and certainly the bar at the beach area wasn't open when I went, but I'm sure it's open in peak season. But I thought the sand was lovely. It was a lovely place to relax if you didn't just want to stay in the pool. The pool itself had an indoor part section and an outdoor part section as well, and you got the spa area as well there. Unfortunately, on this video I forgot to film the room itself, but it was a nice room, but I had to ask for tea and coffee making facilities 3 times for it to be delivered to the room. When it was delivered, it just wasn't nice, and certainly at breakfast, the coffee machines, it was like instant coffee machines. So I had to go out of the resort to get my coffee, and that's when I did realise the amount of wild dogs around, and they run in packs. So when you're just walking down a little country pathway, it's quite daunting, really. Now, walking just out of the resort was quite interesting to me, because you realise that it is a poor country and everything's really cheap there. Like, when I went to the coffee shop, it was literally for 2 small lattes, it was about, I think it was about 80p. So it was incredibly cheap to actually buy stuff out of the resort. Now, I went all inclusive, but I wasn't very happy with the breakfasts and the food quality, as I've said before. So I was looking at potential restaurants to go to, but it didn't come to that in the end. And but no, it was interesting to be able to go out of the resort and to explore, which is what I did. So this is the excursion that I went on with Tunisia. So you arrive by coach and you're able to walk around Hammamet, which was really nice. We walked around the Hammamet castle in terms of the ruins and everything. I thought the scenery was lovely, but it was very easy to get distracted by the amount of people, like shop owners and people that were trying to help you out for tips, that you actually had to deal with. So it was a big problem in Tunisia. Like if I walked past a shop, the shopkeeper would come out and try and get me to go in, but it was happening with every single shop. I imagine because it was out of season that was probably why. However, I have heard from reviews that it can be a big issue during peak season as well. And to politely decline is just what you have to do if you don't want to go in every single shop that you walk past. And it was certainly the case that it really got to me on this holiday, because I was just trying to relax. I'd sit down next to this beautiful view over the sea and I'd be approached time and time again. The tactics that they used was, they'd see your band from your hotel. They'd say, I work at your hotel. I'm the chef there. Whatever it took to draw you in is what they would do. They would lie through their back teeth as much as possible to get money from you. And it was really concerning, to the point that at times I was getting very frustrated because I just wanted to enjoy the holiday. And I get it. These are desperate people that are really struggling and money's very tight and everything. But I personally wouldn't go back to that country purely because of that. And I've heard it's the same in Egypt, it's the same in a lot of other countries, but it did seem particularly bad in Tunisia where I stayed. Now, this was another trip that I decided to take in a taxi. I got ripped off by the taxi driver, and then his friends called his brother, tried to get me as soon as I walked out of the taxi for trying to take me into a shop. You know, it was just relentless at times. So this is the Medina, this is the new town. I preferred the old town, but the new town was really good to experience as well, because there was a lot of different things to explore, like the shops and entertainment complex there, which I thought was brilliant. But again, I was approached multiple times, and it put a dampener on the holiday, if I'm completely honest, which was a shame. Now, overall, it was a very cheap holiday to have. In all, including my son, for all inclusive for the week, it cost just over £1,000 to actually go on this holiday, including flights and baggage upgrades and extra legroom seats and seat reservations as well, which is an absolute bargain these days. However, the standards of the food in the hotel was just not up to standard. I chewed a piece of meat and it nearly broke my tooth because there was a bone in it. And it was just the amount of people that approached me, which just put a dampener on the holiday, which was a big shame. I ideally wouldn't go back there, if I was completely honest. I'd rather spend more money and go back to Morocco, which I've also got on this channel, so make sure you check that out if you haven't already. Thanks for watching. Speak to you on the next one. Bye.